Good morning. Good morning. All right, fight back. Share the real estate shark. Shari, the real estate shark. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good morning. Good morning. This is Dr. Herbert Harrison. This is Labor Day. Wow, what another holiday. What another year. And just happy to be with you today. Tell you something very interesting. With all the rain, one of our pipes burst in the house, and I had to turn the water off last night. And the interesting thing, this was about 11:30 last night. And, you often say, everybody's good at something. Well, I am not good at turning off water. I was out in front of the house with a flashlight, and Sandra's holding the light, and we had a bulb and one of these lanterns. And I was trying to think about how to turn this water off, because there was a pipe behind I guess the hot water heater that had broken, and water was coming. You could hear it, and I was afraid that it was going to go into one of the electric sockets. And so we're trying to figure out how to get in the thing. Now, at least we had the tool. We had the right tool. There's a special tool to turn the water off. And just then, up pulls one of our workers. Now, we're talking like maybe 11:15 last night. And out of the blue, and he came up. I mean, he knew exactly what to do. He took the thing, he popped the top of the water off, turned it, and bingo, the water was shut off. The water stopped running in the house. And that's a great lead in for today's topic. We're looking from a section of the book from the Law of Action, from the 12 Universal Laws of Success. And we're looking at a topic called right work. And the essence of this is that everybody's good at something. Someone once said, have you ever seen a brain surgeon with a flat tire? One of the smartest people on the planet, standing there scratching his head trying to figure out how to change the tire. And so last night, we had that same situation. The beauty of life is this, that if you have a need and you speak that need into the universe, the need is met. Now, we could say, oh man, that was a coincidence. He just happened to be riding down my street at 11:15 at night, the very moment I'm standing outside with a flashlight. But really and truly, look at it for what it is. That when you have a need in life, the universe will fulfill that need. You simply have to understand it and seek. Now, the interesting thing, I did not actively seek to say, man, I wish I should call GJ. But what in my mind was saying, you need help. And the call went out. So in our lives, how many times, does our mind say we need help? How many times does our mind call out to send somebody or bring somebody who can change things for you, who can help you through a situation? And so today in chapter 7, there's a section called Right Work. And it's appropriate for Labor Day because the essence of Labor Day is to honor those who work hard, honor the people who put in the time to get things done. And the interesting thing about labor is this: if you love what you're doing, you'll never work again. And so when we look at this idea of right work, the law of action is really about what do you do to provide for yourself and your family and live your destiny. And one of the things when we look at a job, we look at work, we look at employment, we like to focus on certain things. When we look at employment, we focus on how much money you make. And sometimes that may be all that a person is considering. How much money am I going to make from the job? When we work with some of the young people, They'll often say, well, I'm going to do that. They're not paying enough. The only thing they're looking at is work. Many times we look at even the employment, what's going on in the country right now. There are many times, many places you see jobs saying people needed for working. We need work. Hey, Lynette, thanks for joining us today. We need workers. We need people to come and work. But so many people look just at the amount of money you're going to get paid. There's so much more to a job than just money. Consider the knowledge and experience that you get. In the old days, they had the apprenticeship programs where you would go and work in a particular area and work with someone who actually knew that area. And so you got some experience, you got a know-how, and you got a hands-on type approach to things. So when you look at a position, when you look at something, a job, and let's put this in a bigger context, work is really exchanging your most valuable gift for something necessary. In other words, work is exchanging your time for something in exchange. Money is one of the things, but experience and knowledge can be more valuable. Many times you can work in a job at a lower wage to get the experience and knowledge so that at the next level, now you can charge more. You can be paid more. Another aspect of a job, of work, is contacts. I rather work as a waiter in a place where intellectuals, where wealthy people, where successful people are congregating, than be the head man in a place where everybody there is broken than I am, or less knowledgeable than I am. The idea of contacts is very powerful because you can get to meet people who can open doors for you. I tell a friend, Ken Brown was a young man out in Detroit, and Ken always had a servant's heart. Ken wrote a book called Life, Living in Freedom Every Day. I wrote another book called From Welfare to Faring Well. And Ken was a young man. He didn't have a lot of money, but he loved serving. He loved the restaurant industry. He loved the food service industry. And he grew up working in restaurants. And he dreamed one day of owning a restaurant, but he didn't have the money. But he had such a beautiful spirit that in serving people in the restaurant, a lady was there who watched him, and she'd come in from time to time. And she said, "You really love your job, don't you?" He says, "Yes, I love serving people. I love making our customers happy. I love delivering on, a good product, good food, etc." She said, "How would you like to own your own restaurant?" He said, "I would love it, He said, "I just don't have the money." She said, "If I could make it possible for you to own a restaurant with no money down, do you think you can make it a success?" He told her, "You bet." Now, what had happened was this. The McDonald's Corporation, you see McDonald's all around the country. McDonald's Corporation, you're not really, they call you an owner operator. See, McDonald's always owns the land. Okay? And so McDonald's is probably one of the largest landowners in the world. So since they always own the land, anybody's an owner operator. So it's a contract you have, a franchise contract. If someone doesn't run it right, if it's not profitable, if they're not delivering good service, the McDonald's Corporation takes over. So they have these restaurants that literally are not owned or operated by anybody, but the company's running. So she was able to put Ken into one of those restaurants. He did such a good job that he bought a second restaurant and made himself a millionaire. And I say that because look at what he used. He used the experience and knowledge that he got working in somebody else's restaurant. He used the contact that he made working in somebody else's restaurant. And of course, he got paid for working in somebody else's restaurant. But look at how he leveraged that. And so that's our message today, that when you do good work, right work, and right work is good work, work that you enjoy doing, which takes us to number 4. So the reason that you work on a job, when you evaluate a job and you look at the idea of working for someone, pay, reasonable pay, knowledge, experience that you can get, number 2. Number 3, contacts. And then number 4, joy. If you love what you're doing, you'll never work again. So this Labor Day, think about this, that as you go forth and close out the end of this year, whatever you may be doing, whatever your work, whatever job you have, whatever business you have, you are exchanging your God-given gift of time for that job. What you say, baby? Thank you from Mississippi for joining us. Reg, 1852, focused Womack. Thank you so much. Focused woman K. Okay. That as you move along through this last part of the year, be very, very mindful of what you exchange your time for. That if you're in a job, evaluate that job based not only just on the money you're making, but the knowledge and experience, the contacts, and the joy that it brings you. If these things are not coming to you in a way that is meaningful to you, look for another job. Now, I'm not telling you to go in and slap the boss and say, I'm done, you don't appreciate me. But to say this, if a position that you are in, even if it's a job, even if it's a business, it may not be the right one for you. And if it is not the right one for you, you have to make that leap. You know, the eagles in the nest, the mother eventually kicks the little eagles out so they can go fly. Sometimes if you're in a position that you don't like, on this Labor Day, if you're laboring in a job that you don't like, where they don't pay you enough, where you're not getting contacts, where you're not getting experience, that's called a rut. And when you're in a rut, you need to get out of it. If you're in a job that you don't love, that's not paying you enough, that you're not getting any knowledge and not making contacts, guess what? You're not going to be there long. Because the only reason that you're there is that you are worth something to the person who's paying you. And they're only going to pay you enough to keep you from quitting. But the other side of that is that you only work hard enough to keep from getting fired. So as a result, you do this dance between getting fired and quitting, which is not an environment for growth. If you're working on a job in that position where you're just doing enough to keep from getting fired, they're only going to pay you enough to keep you from quitting. But most of all, sooner or later, they're going to get rid of you. Because the most valuable thing that you can bring to a job is value. In other words, to make yourself indispensable. To make yourself the type of employee that they say, hey, if anybody's going to get fired, this is going to be the last person. This person is going down with the ship because they are so valuable to the company. So as we go out to complete this year, I want us to think about how you can add value to whatever position you're in. If you're in a job that you like, but they're not paying you enough, okay? Figure out a way to get paid more. Maybe you need to study more to get a promotion. Maybe you need to make some contacts in the higher up. My grandson was looking for a job during this political season, and he had put in his application. And when he mentioned that, we knew, the politician, that he wanted to work for. And so I picked up the phone and I called him. And he said, Granddad, you know him? I'm like, yeah. I ran his campaign one time. He called me back last night. He said, I didn't see your grandson's application. He said, have him email it to me. you're in. So that's context, that's connections. But now, how can I recommend my grandson? Because I have respect for his time and his work ethic. So as you go through the end of this year, how can you add value to yourself so that you can make more money? How can you add value to yourself so that you can meet more of the right people? How can you add value to yourself so that you can learn more and put yourself in an environment to learn more? How can you add value to yourself where you love your job even more? So that's the message today. This is Labor Day. I know we have a holiday to go out and do stuff. I got to go deal with my running water. But I wanted to share that with us today because how you exchange your time is critical. If you're exchanging your God-given time just to make a living, just to survive, you're shortchanging yourself. Exchange your time for something that can help you grow, that can help you go to the next level. So do this. Get a copy of our book. If you don't have our book, be sure to get the 12 Universal Laws of Success. Go to our website, herbertharris.com, www.herbertharris.com. Get a copy of the book. But also, as we close out this year, you know, we have a home study course that can give you a head start to help you close out this year so strongly that you begin next year at such a high level that next year will be your year for outrageous success. We call it the New You for the New Year Home Study Course. Go to our website, herbertharris.com, click on it. And the power of that course is it gives you the tools that you can use. It's a workbook in it. It's audio course with workbook, but it gives you a course that you can use in your time to help reflect and refine your tools so that you can add value to yourself to make this year your year for success, to help you close out this year so strongly that next year you begin at such a high level that next year you'll be having the year of your life. So once again, this is Dr. Herbert Harris. Be sure to go to our website, herbertharris.com. Thank you so much for being with us today. This appointment with you is like sacred to me. What you say, baby, images, Chris out, yes. Okay. Hazel, thank you for joining us. Always know that you can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. And you can have whatever you want to have. Always knowing that the best is yet to come. Folks, this is Dr. Herbert Harris saying, your day for success is this day. Take it by the hands, roll it up, and toss it toward your dreams. All right, folks, see you on Wednesday, 8 a.m. for Wisdom Wednesday. Please share this broadcast with at least 3 other people and make some comments on how you are going to add value to your life to make you more valuable to you. And so it is.